The Great Sacrifice. One night the Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ had a dream. He was ordered by Allah to sacrifice his son. Allah talks to the prophets, but he does not talk as we do. When he wants to command the prophets, he shows it to them in a dream. A dream is like an order from Allah. The next day the Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ called his son Ismail. He said, "Ismail, I had a dream last night. Allah wants me to sacrifice you." Ismail was not afraid. He loved Allah very much. He also knew that Allah was good. Allah never does anything to harm good people. The Prophet Ibrahim and Ismail left Mecca. They went to the valley of Mina. This was where the Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ saw in his dream. Ismail laid on the ground. He with his eyes closed. His father stood next to him. He picked up the knife. He was ready to obey Allah by sacrificing his son. At this moment, the angel Jibril appeared. Allah sent the angel Jibril with a ram to be sacrificed instead. In this way, the little Ismail was saved. Ibrahim ﷺ and his son cried with joy. They thanked Allah, and then the Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ sacrificed the ram. Allah loves people who listen to him. He loves people who have trust in him, and he cares for them. Allah was so pleased with the readiness of the Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ to sacrifice his beloved son that he commanded the believers to observe this day as Eid al-Adha, or the Feast of Sacrifice. The end.
Both of them had gardens. The rich friend had a huge garden. On one side of the garden there was a vineyard. Its grapes were bigger and sweeter than any other grapes. On the other side of the garden there was an orchard. It was full of date palms. There were so many palms that it was impossible to even count them without making a mistake. Between the two gardens there was a field of corn. Every time the two friends met, the rich friend used to say, "I am richer than you, and my family is better than yours." The rich man loved his garden a lot. He looked at his garden with lots of pride. He thought, "It's a beautiful garden. It will always be full of fruit. It will never be destroyed, not even on the last day. And when I die, I am sure I will have an even better garden than this." The poor friend heard what his rich friend said. He was surprised by his pride. Once he asked him, "Don't you believe in Allah? Allah has made you. He gave you all you have. Why don't you praise Allah? Why don't you praise Him when you enter your garden? Why don't you say, 'Everything happens as Allah wills'?" Then the poor friend said, "I am poorer than you. My family is also not as great as yours. But if Allah wills, He will give me a garden even better than yours. If Allah so wills, a storm might ruin your garden, or the streams might run dry, and there might be no water for your garden." The very next day, a terrible thing happened. The rich man's garden was destroyed. Bunches of ripe grapes were ripped from the branches and fell to the ground. The rich man looked at his ruined garden and cried, "I shouldn't have been proud. Why didn't I thank Allah? Why wasn't I grateful?" He turned to Allah for help. It was too late to save his garden, but not too late to save his soul. This story is meant to teach